I do think there does need to be accountability when it comes to this issue. I mean, normally medical issues would remain private, but when you're the President of the United States, when you have that level of control and authority, well, there should be public disclosure. What do you think, Cameron?
Well, and I was going to say, I agree with Matt. I mean, I think we don't want to see the judiciary weaponised for political outcomes. And I think that's a great thing about our system versus what I observe about the US, especially in recent times. But look, I think that the saddest thing here is that Joe Biden was actually a servant of the United States. He did great things. And he'll be only now remembered for the last year or two where he was seriously suffering from cognitive, diminished cognitive abilities, clearly, and now physical as well. And the fact that the staff looked like they covered that up for political gain, and then I think, as you rightly said, Matt, probably damaged the Democrats' chances of actually having a decent presidential candidate come through. That's the scandal. That's what needs to be investigated. It might not be a conspiracy, but it's an awful, awful cover-up of someone's medical condition that led to the political outcome we've now seen.
But also if there were medical authorities, if there were doctors who agreed to keep this silent but knew about it, perhaps there's an argument that they had a public duty to tell someone about it. So there are, I think, ethical questions, dilemmas here. It's not so clear-cut, although I do agree with your...
We've all watched West Wing, though, haven't we?
Indeed, we have watched West Wing. I'm sure it's all of our favourite old television shows.
True.
Now, federal Labor is being urged, as in the Albanese government, is being urged to scrap at least the size of its cigarette tax. Experts are now concerned that it's fueling this violent black market. We even saw the Premier in New South Wales, Chris Minns, come out this week. He spoke pretty strongly about the issue. But then we heard Treasurer Jim Chalmers say that he's definitely not making cigarettes cheaper. Have a look.
I respectfully disagree with Chris. He's a friend of mine. I work closely with Premier Minns. I don't think the answer here is to make cigarettes cheaper for people. I think the answer here is to get better at compliance.
Matt, this is becoming a major issue, the black market, the illegal importation, the crime. What do you think is the solution?
Well, look, I think Chris Minns is espousing common sense here. I'll be fair, this isn't a problem created by the Albanese government. These high excise on tobacco was there before Anthony Albanese came in, but the problem has gotten worse in the last few years, and it is the responsibility of any government to respond to things that aren't working well and try and fix them. The facts are that we've had almost a halving of tobacco excise revenue in the last few years. We certainly haven't had a halving of smoking rates. So what is happening is otherwise legal, law-abiding Australian citizens effectively going into a black market because they just can't afford to buy cigarettes. They're over $50 a pack now, and no one can really afford that. So cigarette smokers are invariably going to the illegal market. That is then funding organised crime in this country, and I'm convinced that that a big part of the outbreak of crime we have seen in Australia in the last few years, beyond just the illegal tobacco market, is because of the funds that have flown in like rivers of gold to organised crime thanks to this black market. So clearly when we've got something like this, we should change the policy settings. At least look at it. Don't be stubborn and pig-headed. Look at this. Maybe a reduction in the excise rate would be best. It actually might raise more revenue and kill off these criminal syndicates that are being funded by it.
I mean, there was one example, Aaron Patrick in the Nightly wrote about this, and he said that on Tuesday, New South Wales Police, Border Force and the AFP intercepted an importation, and among the stash were 20 million cigarettes. 20 million cigarettes. I mean, Cameron, you'd remember a time when there was illegal drugs, not cigarettes, being imported. So unquestionably, there's an issue here. The answer's not so simple.
It isn't, and it's complex. But I think we do need to spend more on prevention, more on policing, and more on preventative healthcare as well. But you're right. I mean, the danger is the tax is so large now, it creates a natural incentive for organised crime to chase that revenue stream. And I think that's the problem. And I think we need to have an open discussion. And I think Premier Minns is right. He's seeing it on the streets in his own city, the crime wave driven by illegal and chop tobacco and people using the tax revenue as an incentive to produce this black market.
And costing tens of millions of dollars in policing and compliance.